Hi Stampers, this is Lisa with Queen Bee Creations. Today I'm here with another Facebook Live, and today we're going to be making this super cute double slider card. I have made the card using the Elfie stamp set from our holiday catalog, but once you get the measurements down, you can do this in any number of colors with any number of stamp sets. Thank you for coming and show you this is the card we're making. And it just slides in and out, nice and simple, and it's actually flat enough it'll fit in a regular envelope, so it doesn't require any extra postage. It just gives a little bit of extra wow for someone who you want to impress. They have renamed our occasions catalog, and it is now going to be the January to June mini catalog. And then we also have Celebration that will go from January 1st to March 31st, and that brochure that you see in front of you will come with your mini catalog, and we'll have the first batch of options that you can earn for free during Celebration. There we go. Okay, so here we are. We're down here at the double slider card. Looks like I've got Patricia watching me, maybe a couple more. Thank you for joining me. Let's get started on making this. I started out with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And so this is a 8 1/2 by 11, just cut in half the long way instead of the short way that we normally do. So we're cutting in half and we're scoring in half. So it's scored at 5 1/2. And then I've got a 3-inch strip of Whisper White and a 3 1/4 inch strip of Shaded Spruce. And I did that because I wanted it, there's some measurements that I could give you individually, but if you know that we can cut it out of these strips, I think it's helpful. So once we have those things, we're also going to need a stamp set. Like I said, you can use any number of colors, any number of stamp sets once you get the idea down. I'm going to bring in our trimmer, and again, this is our new trimmer. And so I have put this little sticker measuring tape on there because I like to be able to see it on the outside. But we're going to take, like I said, we're going to take this 4 1/4 by 11, and we're going to score with the light gray one at 5 1/2. Light tan one, whatever color this is. But then, let's see, I've already got my notch cut, so we need to go this way. But what I want you to do is take and put the score line that we just did up here with the 1 3/4 inch. So you probably can't see that, but my score line is right here at 1 3/4 inch. And then you can either lightly score again, or I actually marked it with a pencil so you guys could see it as we put this card together. So you're going to mark there, and then you're going to slide over and you're going to put that same score line at 4 1/4. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to do a light pencil mark or a score line, something that will mark that. Okay, then we're going to come in, and like I said, we have this 3-inch strip of Whisper White. And I'm going to cut this to 4 1/4. Two-inch. And then 3 1/2. And like I said, I've got a little bit left over, but don't worry about that. I'm going to come in here with my 3 1/4, and we're going to go 4 1/2. 3 1/4. 3 3/4. Okay, so what this is going to do is give us our 3 different layers that are going to pop in and out of this card. Okay, so back to this. We have our measurements. This is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4, 4 1/4 by 3, 3 1/4 by 2 1/4, 3 by 2. This one is, this is the 3x2, 3 1/4. 3 3/4 by 3 1/4, 3 1/2 by 3. What a mess. Okay, so now, like I said, you're going to take a 1-inch circle punch, and you're going to want to punch a little notch at the top here. And then you're going to take a word window, or I think this is an everyday label. But what we're going to do is we're going to push this all the way in, and we're going to look for that little mark, and we're going to punch up to that mark. Now I have to move it a little bit because my pencil line, if you can see, is a little longer than the punch. So you want to make sure that you are punching between those two. I'm going to come over to the other side and do the same thing on this side. So now I have my tracks. This is what's going to make the card pull up and down. And then I'm going to take some tear and tape to hold the card together. Since it's going to have some movement, we want to make sure that it does stay put. And because the pencil lines on the inside, nobody's going to see them, I'm going to go ahead and leave them there. And then I'm going to come in with my 3/4 inch punch, and I'm going to punch out 4 little circles. And then I'm going to make little sandwiches out of them. I'm going to put a dimensional in the center. And then I'm going to arrange that in the middle of the track and put the other side on it. So like I said, these little things are what's going to make our card pop up and down. So that's the inside of our card. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to decorate our layers, and I'll try to do this quickly. What I did was, for the big one that's going to pop out of the inside, I had my interior sentiment. I apologize if you're seeing the top of my head. I want to make sure I'm clear to the top because I want it to be able to pull up. Because see how close that is to the top allows me to how far this can pop up, and I want to be able to see most of my elf. So let's come back with Memento Black. This little tiny one, like I said, this is the one that's going to pull up in the middle. So again, I'm trying to center it, but going kind of close to the top. And then I'm going to decorate this outside one. And it's actually, could be a little bit taller. I want to make sure I got the top of the pole, so his feet got cut off a little, but I'm okay with that. If that bothers you, you can go ahead and cut this a little bit longer. It won't really mess up your card. I wanted to give him a package. And then a sentiment. And then I used the Night of Navy and gave a few snowflakes. Hi, Wendy. How'd your craft fair go? Did you sell lots and lots? Wish I could have been there. Your stuff looked adorable. There it is. I'm going to move these over to my Stampin Scrub. The Stampin' Scrub is a double-sided little piece that allows you to make one side wet and one side dry, so you can rub on the wet side and then rub on the dry side and you've cleaned your stamps. You can use that, or you can use our Simply Chamois. Both of those work really well on our red rubber stamps. And that's actually just 1/4 of a chamois. They are actually bigger. But I cut them down because it makes them easier to use for the Stamparatus. So when, again, like I said, I've said this lots of times, when we're using the Stampin' Blends, we want to make sure that we start out with one color. I usually start out with dark. I've heard some people start out with light. But I'm kind of accenting where I think this is going to be darker with the dark pen. And then before it dries, I'm going to quickly run in there and do the second color, the light. So this is dark shaded spruce and light shaded spruce. So the two of them will work well together. Where they overlap, I'm going to make small circles. And we have to do this fairly quickly because we don't want the ink to really dry, because they're going to blend a whole lot better if they're still a little bit wet. And if they're not blending well for you, just keep laying down more ink and they will eventually start to blend. Don't worry if it starts showing through the back. That's totally fine. Some people will even recommend that you make sure that you have, you know, your grid paper or something underneath, so in case it does bleed all the way through, you're not messing up, you know, another layer of your card or something. Thank you for those of you that are sharing the video. I appreciate that. I have some consistent people who come on and watch me and share my video, and I really appreciate that. You guys want to make sure that I have your home address so I can send you a thank you card or a little goodie in the mail. So, you guys that are consistent, can you do me a favor and shoot me a Facebook Messenger message with your mailing address on it for me? It is the Christmas season. So I'm not going to finish coloring this entire thing, but I want to make sure I color the guy who pops up because he will be harder to reach. Normally I would recommend that everybody always finish all of your stamping and coloring before you start adhering, because the idea is that if you mess something up on this side, you can always flip it over and stamp on the other side, which is not possible if it's all glued together. But I'm sure you guys don't want to sit here and watch me do all my coloring. I should have done it ahead of time probably, but I wanted to show you how easy it was to cut if you had the right strips. So this is one of our Christmas ribbons in the holiday catalog. If you guys haven't tried our ribbons, I do recommend them. They are very nice. And also remember that I do product shares. So with that new catalog that's coming out, if you guys would like a little, you know, 1 yard of each of the ribbon, or a 6x6 piece of each of the papers, or even a little sampler book for what our designer series papers are, that's a product share. And I will be doing that again. As soon as we get all the graphics, I'll get all the info out to you. But I do want you to keep in mind that you can get a little sampling of everything if you'd like. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the center of the inside layer. And then if you have a small stapler, I would recommend stapling it, just because it's going to get a lot of movement. We want to make sure that it stays put. Oh, my stapler just jammed. Okay, and then we're going to come back in and adhere the Whisper White layer over that. And like I said, I would staple first before putting this on so that the staple is hidden, and you would want the flat part to the back, obviously, so that it wouldn't snag on anything. And then we're going to come to this inside layer, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure that, you know, the ribbon pops up in the middle, it's flush with the edge. And then we're going to adhere these, and you want them all the way at the bottom when we adhere them, because when the card is closed, they will be at the bottom. So let's go ahead and put a little adhesive on those. Sonia, I'm glad you got your card. I had to figure out international postage, but it was worth it. Okay, so once that's adhered, like I said, this is the part that's going to slide up and down. And then we can peel back this part. And then seal it up. Now on the front, that's what I said, this is where this guy's going to come in. And so when we pull up on this, we want this layer to move. So now I'm going to put this all the way open and do kind of similar to what we did on the inside. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on here. Oops. Don't want it in the center. And then measure where I want the top to be, then push down. So that's when it'll catch those adhesive pieces, is when I know when it's fully open, that's where I want that guy to be. So when it's closed, it'll look like that. And then that's when we can put our cover on. Now, if you wanted something in the background, if you wanted a layer of DSP or you wanted to do some stamping on there, you can go ahead and do that. Do that before you start doing the punching, because then you would punch the half circle and our slider holes through your designer series paper or your stamping, and you would still have all your functionality. I'm going to adhere the white to the shaded spruce with regular snail adhesive, but when I put it onto here, I want this to be on dimensional, because that's going to give the room for this thing to slide back and forth. Now, I have seen ladies who have tried to use the regular dimensionals and they've gotten it to work. When I tried it, mine got stuck. So I also tried it in the minis. That worked very well for me. That's how the other one went together. But, you know, this also might be an area where you could use these strips. These are our foam strips. And to me, they seem perfect for this kind of idea, because they're nice and narrow and they can go along the edge. And give us that little trough we're looking for. So I'm going to put this kind of as close to the edge as I can get it without it showing on the other side. And then I'm going to peel off the backing. And then I'm going to center this on my card. Now again, I'm trying to be very careful that I'm not sticking anywhere in the middle, so that when I pull, that guy still pops up. So there's your fully functioning double slider card. It does have to be square in order to pull up, but there's that. I did this one in garden green and this one in shaded spruce. They both work. Like I said, you can kind of see the word Christmas there. Didn't bother me because I wanted to be able to see no peeking when this guy popped up. This one you can't see it. So it's all a matter of preference. And like I said, you could do this in many colors, many different stamp sets once you get the idea down. So I hope you liked today's project and you have placed your order. I have the December host code up there, and for everybody who places an order and uses that host code, they're going to get my customer appreciation PDF in the email. And this month I'm using the Sip Sip Hooray stamp set because we're coming up on holidays, and so this would work not only for Christmas but also for New Year's and any kind of party you're having or celebration, weddings, you know, maybe just a day out wine tasting, a congratulations, maybe I'll drink to that, hooray. There's just many occasions we can use this for. And so if you place a $30 order through my store, you will get the PDF that will give you all the instructions to make 6 cards, 2 of them being fancy fold, using this stamp set. I will put my graphic together and I will have that on my blog soon. Again, if you have placed an order with me in the last year, then you will be getting the new holiday, the new occasions mini, January to June mini catalog in the mail. So if you place an order with me and you're one of my regular customers, you will be getting a catalog for free in the mail. So thank you for joining me. I hope you found today's video helpful. And I hope to see you back next week. So thank you for joining me and have a good day. Thanks. Bye.